Hello, Abdul. Thank you so much for joining us at Arts Film. You've just shared with us four of your short films. Can you tell us a little bit about like where the ideas for the four short films, where did they come from?
Oh, yeah. Hello. Yes, thank you for having me at the Sea Arts Festival. Um, well, the four films, they basically came from different sources. The memory's full on the camera, by the way. It's okay. You already took one photo. The four films came from different sources. Mainly actor Taluki, King's Dementia, were all inspired from the surreal, abstract genre. Because I did, I did, s- well, I, I, I did a lot of construction work before, like this, but this happens in my head a lot. But construction work is very powerful, and I think it's very commercial, and yeah. Oh, that's a big drill.
I think making a film is that kind of effort,
Exactly,
isn't
yeah.
it?
It's like having a drill, but you wanna like get the hole into the other head. So that's what making films is about. You have to drill in and out. Anyway, so three of my films that they screened are about the surreal aspect of life. I deal a lot with the surreal genre. I think a lot of my works are inspired from Dario Argento, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, and a lot of this Salvador Dali paintings. I like them a lot. Gagak and Murak, however, was something that was given to me by a different source. It was more about because the makeup artist on that film was an actual friend of mine. He told me about how he was as a child, how his mom hated him because he was dressing up as a girl.
Yeah.
And then he decided to ask me, "Do you think you can make a film about that?" And I said, "I'll try." But in Brunei, we can't really show those kinds of films because it's an Islamic country, and films of that nature are very taboo. And he said, "That's okay because you're going to France and you're going to Europe, so why don't you show it there?" And I said, "Okay, maybe you're right." So I shot that with him. I wrote the story with him, and we casted the mother. But we had difficulty finding the actor because nobody in Brunei wanted to audition for that role because it's very high risky role, and the actress recommended her cousin to play the role, and then I thought, okay, well, he's kind of masculine looking, but why not? We'll like put some makeup on him. So luckily, my friend who was the makeup artist really did a good job, I think, with the makeup on that film, and the rest was history. So I presented that into a festival in Europe. So that
I want to ask you a little bit more about that film because I mean it's touching on a difficult subject. And also in many other countries, it's still for some people still an issue where you still have to struggle with it a little bit. Can you tell us more about like what that's like in Brunei and also making a film like that? I mean, do your colleagues ever say to you maybe you shouldn't make films like that or like censorship and any concerns creatively like what kind of freedom you have?
um, as I am just a filmmaker and I'm not a politician or a religious official, I think that if anything concerning religion or anything concerning politics, I think those are separate entities. I think cinema is another entity. It's like an egg, I think, and religion and politics are kind of like chickens. So the egg is the byproduct of those two chickens, but we don't necessarily see those chickens as part of the egg. It came from the egg, but I try not to keep them in the same basket, as they say in England. But when I deal with Gaga and Marak, I try to be very objective and subjective at the same time. But I try not to make a commentary about it. There's one line I agree, which is kind of a bit harsh in that film. The "This is Brunei" line. But I think that's the reality of it. I think in Brunei you cannot have a film like this, and I think that because I'm doing something like this, it is also in a way trying to give, I think, a sort of hope. I think that people should start making films, not necessarily to criticize or maybe just to open up a little, to show the country for what it is. I know that because Brunei is an Islamic country, we cannot show everything, but I think it's important to address certain things like men becoming women at night. You know, it's not necessarily something that's gonna kill people. You know, it's not murder, but I know it's not something quite taboo. But what I want to do with this film is to show the negative side, because it's a very dark subject. Because in the film, we're not sure if the mom did that to the son or not. But what I think I'm good at doing is keeping that surreal ambiguity within the film. So we're not sure what the mom did in the end, which is why what I prefer to keep it. So I'm not really making a commentary, I'm keeping it ambiguous. So that's the difference between being a filmmaker and making a political point.
And of course, we've all discussed quite briefly earlier that Sharia law will come into play in 6 months. Do you think that will affect like the kind of films that you will make and your choices?
Uh-oh. Yeah, Sharia law. Wow, okay. As I said before, I try to divert and try to distance myself from that. As I said, chicken, politics, religion. Yes, obviously it's going to be difficult. I know, because there's been a lot of coverage about the Sharia law. But as I said, I'm a filmmaker. I will do my best to still tell stories, whether they are talking about my country or whether they're talking about a particular subject about my country. One of the very good things about being able to travel a lot is that you can bring your stories outside the country and bring them to another country like England and France and Germany. So I try my very best to be objective, but at the same time, I'm not going to be apologetic, because what I do is reveal things, and I do it in a surreal way. And if the Sharia law is going to be about censorship, then I'll just try to find a way around. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stifle my work. It just makes me more creative to push it out. So.
So now that it looks like the Bruneian government is also starting to invest in feature films, so will we be expecting a feature film from you in the future?
Yes, in 2015.
Okay, cool.
That's the
So we can
secret.
show it at the ArtsFest, yeah?
Yes, of course. Just for you, Annie.
Thank you so much, Abdul. It's been such a pleasure to have you here in London with us.
Okay. Yeah, thank you to everyone, Haching, Annie, for all the team, everyone who's been at Helen's house, obviously, and the food, for having me here. Even though I found very difficult to get here, but I found it in the end. So thanks.
Thank you so much.